to a report of a vehicle crash into a building on Park Place Avenue around 10 a.m. When officers arrived, they found this scene on your screen right now. You can see a portion of that security fence was down. Now, HPD says officers found a driver unresponsive inside her vehicle. She was pronounced dead on the scene.
One moment she was dancing, carefree, joyful, alive. The next she was slumped over her steering wheel, blood soaking through her nurse's uniform. Her car crashed into a fence after a desperate attempt to save her own life. Zakoya Johnson Eckles never made it to the hospital that October morning. The 36-year-old mother of two died alone in her car, shot by the man who had vowed to love and protect her, all because of a dance video with another man. This isn't just another tragic headline. This is the story of how jealousy transformed into murderous rage in an instant, how a seemingly picture-perfect relationship on social media masked a dangerous reality, and how one woman's innocent dance became her death sentence. Before we continue, if you believe in shining light on these important stories and helping others recognize the warning signs of domestic violence, please take a moment to subscribe to True Crime Journal and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us continue bringing awareness to cases like Zakoya's that might otherwise be forgotten. Together, we might save lives by understanding what happened here. Johnson Eckles was known for her warm heart and infectious smile. Those who knew her described her as more than just a local resident. She was a beacon of light whose compassion touched everyone around her. "A message for my daughter," she once wrote on social media. "In my eyes, there's no one that can equal your beauty, no word that can describe how much you mean to me, nothing that can lessen my love for you as you have it now and for eternity." As a dedicated nurse working in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Zakoya embodied the true meaning of a hardworking mother. She tirelessly ensured there was food on the table, a roof over her children's heads, and unconditional love surrounding her family. Her two children weren't just kids, they were her entire world, her reason for living. Friends described her personality as sunshine personified, always jovial, always ready with a laugh that could light up the darkest room. Zakoya wasn't just existing, she was living with a passion that inspired everyone fortunate enough to know her. Her marriage to 50-year-old Kenrod Cartas Eckles seemed picture-perfect from the outside. Their social media accounts painted a portrait of a loving couple traveling together, sharing special moments, and appearing completely in sync. To casual observers, they were the epitome of relationship goals. Their public displays of affection and seemingly harmonious life fooled many into believing theirs was a match made in heaven. But beneath this polished exterior, a different story was brewing, one that would end in tragedy on a quiet October morning in 2024. What seemed like a normal, happy family was actually filled with tension, waiting for the smallest spark to explode. The dance video became that spark, revealing the complex and dangerous dynamics that had been simmering beneath the surface of their relationship. Kenrod's suspicions had been growing for days. In his mind, something sinister was definitely happening between Zakoya and the man in the dance video. What started as jealousy quickly spiraled into a terrifying confrontation on October 26, 2024, a day that would change everything forever. The argument between them was intense and volatile. Kenrod demanded complete control, insisting that Zakoya hand over her phone, just one of many controlling demands he made during their heated exchange. But Zakoya wasn't someone who would be easily intimidated. She stood her ground, refusing to submit to his increasingly aggressive requests. "You think you can just do whatever you want," Kenrod reportedly snapped, pacing their living room. "You are mine. Do you comprehend that?" Zakoya was fed up and stood her ground. "I'm not doing this with you, Ken. It was only a dance." But her resistance only infuriated him more. In a moment of rage that would define this tragedy, Kenrod's anger reached a breaking point. He retrieved his gun and made the most horrifying threat imaginable. He was going to shoot Zakoya. What had started as an argument had now transformed into a life-or-death situation. And then, in a split second of unimaginable violence, he followed through on his threat. The bullet struck Zakoya in her abdomen, causing immediate and severe trauma. Wounded and desperate, she tried to save herself, rushing to her car with the hope of making it to the hospital. Her mind was racing, thoughts of her children, dread and disbelief that the man she had trusted could do this to her. Her survival instinct was strong, but the injury was catastrophic. Losing blood rapidly, her strength began to fade, and she lost control of her vehicle. The crash was violent and sudden. Zakoya's car slammed into a fence on Park Place Avenue, creating a scene that would soon draw the attention of local law enforcement. Hattiesburg Police Department officers responded to the accident report around 10 a.m., arriving to find a scene of utter devastation. When officers approached the vehicle, they discovered Zakoya unresponsive, a stark and heartbreaking scene of violence. Despite any potential medical intervention, she was pronounced dead at the scene. The woman who just moments ago was full of life was now gone, her identity confirmed as 36-year-old Zakoya Johnson Eckles. In the aftermath of the tragic shooting, Kenrod Eckles made a shocking move that would further unravel the devastating narrative. Shortly after the police arrived at the scene, he contacted the authorities and unexpectedly admitted his involvement in Zakoya's murder, a confession that would seal his fate and begin the legal process of seeking justice. "I shot her. I am the one you are looking for," he reportedly told police. Kenrod Cardez Eckles, a 50-year-old man from Columbia, Mississippi, now faced the most serious charges imaginable. First-degree murder was just the beginning of the legal consequences he would face for taking Zakoya's life. The charges didn't stop there. Prosecutors also charged him with tampering with evidence, witness tampering, and malicious mischief, a comprehensive list of criminal actions that painted a disturbing picture of his behavior. The Forest County Jail became Kenrod's temporary home as he awaited his initial court appearance, a place where he would have ample time to reflect on the devastating consequences of his actions. Meanwhile, the Lamar County coroner, Blake Emihioichin, initiated the next critical step in understanding the full extent of the tragedy. Zakoya's body was carefully transported to the Mississippi State Crime Lab in Biloxi for a comprehensive forensic examination, seeking to uncover every possible detail about her untimely death. The Hattiesburg Police Department made it clear that their investigation was far from over. They promised the public that more information would be released as it became available, ensuring transparency in this heart-wrenching case. According to local news reports, Kenrod and Zakoya were indeed married, a fact confirmed by authorities. But whatever vows of love and protection he had once made to her were shattered by his own violent actions. The most devastating victims in this tragedy were her children, now forced to live without their beloved mother. Their world was shattered by an act of uncontrolled rage and violence. Their future had been irrevocably altered by one moment of unimaginable cruelty. One of her daughters wrote in tribute, "In my eyes, there's no one that can equal your beauty, Mama. Nothing will ever lessen my love for you, now and for eternity." Now, as Kenrod faces his first court appearance, the weight of his actions hangs heavy. Meanwhile, friends and family grapple with the heartbreaking loss of a vibrant woman whose life was stolen far too soon, leaving a void that will never be filled. What makes Zakoya's story particularly heartbreaking is how avoidable it was. No dance video justifies murder. No perceived disrespect warrants taking a mother from her children. No momentary rage excuses a permanent, irreversible act of violence. Kenrod's quick confession suggests he may have realized the gravity of his actions too late. But realization after the fact brings no comfort to the children who will grow up without their mother, the patients who lost a caring nurse, or the community that lost a beloved member. For Zakoya's children, the journey forward will be unimaginably difficult. They must now navigate life without their mother's guidance, love, and support. The psychological impact of losing a parent to domestic violence creates trauma that can last a lifetime. For the Hattiesburg community, Zakoya's death serves as a sobering reminder that domestic violence hides behind closed doors, sometimes masked by seemingly perfect social media portrayals of happy relationships. And for those who might be in similar situations, feeling controlled, experiencing jealousy that seems excessive, facing threats, Zakoya's story stands as a tragic warning. Jealousy isn't love, control isn't care, and no relationship is worth your life. As we conclude Zakoya's story, we're left with difficult questions and a responsibility to learn from this tragedy. How can we better recognize the warning signs of potentially deadly domestic situations? How can communities provide better support and protection for those at risk? And how can we change the cultural attitudes that sometimes normalize jealousy and control in relationships? Zakoya Johnson Eckles deserved to live a full life. She deserved to watch her children grow up. She deserved to continue helping patients as a dedicated nurse. She deserved to dance without fear. Her memory challenges us to be more vigilant, more supportive, and more willing to intervene when we see dangerous patterns emerging in relationships around us. It challenges us to reject the romanticization of jealousy and possessiveness that permeates much of our popular culture. Most importantly, her story reminds us that domestic violence can escalate from controlling behavior to lethal violence with terrifying speed. What seems like just jealousy one day can become deadly the next. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out for help. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7 at 1-800-79-97233, or you can text START to 88788. The best tribute we can offer to Zakoya's memory is ensuring that her story helps prevent similar tragedies in the future. What do you think about this heartbreaking case? Have you ever witnessed concerning jealousy in relationships around you? What warning signs do you think people often miss? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might help someone recognize a dangerous situation before it's too late. If you found this story important, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share this video. Every subscription helps us continue bringing awareness to cases like Zakoya's, and your support makes a real difference. Hit that notification bell to stay updated on new uploads, and remember, awareness saves lives.